Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be stepping into a world that most people don't even know exists, and that is telecom testing.
Right.
It's the hidden force that makes sure our calls connect, our internet doesn't crash, and that our digital lives actually work.
Yeah, it's really amazing how much we take for granted.
Hmm.
From a simple text message to streaming a movie.
Right.
So much has to go right behind the scenes.
We're not just talking about making sure you can hear your friend on the phone. This is about testing the entire network, the billing systems, the infrastructure, everything.
Everything.
It's like an intricate web, and one tiny snag can cause a major headache.
Yeah, and that's why domain knowledge is so crucial in telecom testing.
Mm.
It's not enough to understand software testing in general.
Yeah.
You need to know the ins and outs of the telecom industry itself.
So let's put that knowledge into action.
Okay.
Imagine you're a customer wanting a new phone line.
Right.
Walk me through what happens from a testing perspective.
Okay, so picture this. You call up your provider, wanting that shiny new phone and data plan.
Yeah.
From that moment, a whole chain of events is set in motion, each step a potential point of failure and therefore a testing opportunity.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. What's the first thing that gets tested?
Well, the provider needs to verify your information check for any outstanding balances and see if the service is even available at your area.
Right.
All that involves multiple systems talking to each other, databases being queried, and decisions being made in milliseconds.
Wow.
Testing ensures those systems are communicating correctly and the information is flowing accurately.
Wow, that's a lot happening before they even tell you if you can get the service.
Exactly. And once the order is placed, we move on to provisioning.
Okay.
This is where things get really technical.
Yeah.
Imagine configuring network switches, allocating bandwidth, assigning phone numbers, and that's just scratching the surface.
So if there's a glitch during provisioning, you might end up with someone else's phone number or no internet at all.
Precisely. That's why testing at this stage is so critical.
Right.
Testers need to simulate various scenarios like peak traffic times or network outages to ensure that the provisioning process is robust and reliable.
This is making me appreciate my phone service on a whole new level.
And then comes the billing system.
Oh, yeah.
Another intricate dance of data.
Uh-huh.
The system needs to accurately calculate charges based on your plan usage, any discounts, and of course taxes.
Right. Yeah.
Any error here could lead to incorrect bills, frustrated customers, and potentially lost revenue for the provider.
I can see why they don't leave this stuff to chance.
And even after you're up and running, testing doesn't stop.
Right.
The service assurance team constantly monitors the network, looking for performance issues, security threats, and any signs of trouble brewing.
It's like a 247 watchtower guarding against digital disasters.
That's a great analogy. It's a continuous process of monitoring, analyzing, and optimizing to ensure the service meets the required quality standards and customer expectations.
So we've seen how a simple phone line request triggers this cascade of testing activity, but how do they actually structure this whole process?
The telecom industry follows a structured testing lifecycle to ensure quality throughout the software development process.
Okay.
It starts with a business view, focusing on requirements and feasibility.
So they're figuring out what the system needs to do and if it's even possible before they write a single line of code.
Exactly. Then we move to the system architecture stage, where security installation and disaster recovery are tested.
Oh, okay.
Imagine deliberately trying to break the system to see how it responds.
That sounds almost fun.
Well, it certainly keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
During implementation, we have unit testing, integration testing, performance testing, and so on. This is where we ensure that all the different parts work together seamlessly.
Like making sure all the gears in a complex machine are meshing correctly.
Precisely. And finally, during deployment, we have acceptance testing, functional and performance testing, and even alpha beta testing.
Wow, so it's a multi-layered process with each stage building on the previous one to ensure a solid and reliable final product.
And throughout this lifecycle, domain knowledge is key.
Right.
Testers need to understand not just the technology, but also the business processes and real-world scenarios that the system will encounter.
So it's not just about finding bugs, it's about anticipating potential issues, understanding how the system will be used, and ultimately ensuring a positive customer experience.
That's what makes telecom testing so challenging and rewarding.
Yeah.
It's not just about technology. It's about people and how they connect with the digital world.
Now, we've talked about the importance of domain knowledge and the structured testing lifecycle, but what about the specific types of testing performed on telecom software?
Right.
What do those look like in practice?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. We have a whole arsenal of testing types, each with its own unique focus and purpose.
So buckle up, listeners. We're about to dive into the fascinating world of telecom testing types. From interconnection testing to IVR testing, we'll explore the intricate dance of software and hardware that makes our digital lives tick.
We'll uncover the hidden heroes who ensure our calls go through, our bills are accurate, and our internet means load at lightning speed.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive.
We've been exploring the intricate world of telecom testing, and now we're going to kind of venture into the future a little bit here.
Right.
What happens to all this testing when we throw in 5G and the Internet of Things?
It's like adding rocket fuel to an already complex engine. 5G and IoT bring a whole new level of speed, connectivity, and complexity, which means testing has to evolve as well.
We're not just talking about, a few more devices connecting to the internet, right?
Not even close. Imagine a world where practically everything is online: cars, refrigerators, traffic lights, even our clothing.
Wow.
That's billions of devices all generating and consuming data at an unprecedented scale.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that testers face in this, kind of brave new world?
Yeah, one of the biggest hurdles is sheer volume. Traditional testing methods simply can't keep up with the sheer number of devices and the amount of data being transmitted.
Right.
Imagine trying to manually test a network with millions of devices all communicating simultaneously.
Yeah, it sounds like trying to find a needle in a haystack while the haystack is on fire.
It's a daunting task, to say the least, and that's why automation is becoming even more critical.
Okay.
We need intelligent systems that can analyze vast amounts of data, simulate complex scenarios, and identify potential issues before they become major problems.
But isn't automation, kind of a double-edged sword? Couldn't it lead to overlooking certain nuanced issues that a human tester might catch?
That's a valid concern. Automation is a powerful tool, but it's not a silver bullet. Human expertise is still essential, especially when it comes to understanding user behavior, anticipating potential issues, and designing tests that accurately reflect real-world scenarios.
So it's a partnership, humans and machines working together to ensure quality and reliability in this increasingly complex digital landscape.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the strengths of both machines, excel at repetitive tasks, data analysis, and identifying patterns. Humans bring creativity, critical thinking, and the ability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances.
Speaking of unforeseen circumstances, what about security with so many devices connected to the network? It seems like the attack surface expands exponentially.
You're absolutely right. Security is paramount in any telecom system, but with the IoT, the stakes are even higher.
Right.
We're talking about potential vulnerabilities in everything from smart home devices to critical infrastructure. A single compromised device could have a cascading effect, disrupting services, leaking sensitive data, or even causing physical harm.
That's a sobering thought. So how do testers even begin to address these security challenges?
It starts with a mindset shift. Security can no longer be an afterthought bolted on at the end of the development process. It needs to be baked into the DNA of every system, from the initial design phase all the way through to deployment and beyond.
That sounds like a major undertaking.
It is, but it's absolutely essential. Testers need to adopt a hacker's mindset, constantly probing for weaknesses, anticipating potential attack vectors, and working closely with developers to build more secure systems from the ground up.
So they need to be both guardians and attackers, protecting the system while also trying to break it to find its weaknesses.
That's a great way to put it. They need to be masters of both offense and defense, constantly pushing the boundaries of security testing to stay one step ahead of the bad guys.
Now, amidst all these challenges, are there any exciting innovations emerging in the world of telecom testing?
Absolutely. One area that's really taken off is the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Imagine AI-powered tools that can automatically generate test cases, analyze vast amounts of data to identify potential issues, and even predict future problems before they occur.
That sounds like something out of science fiction.
It might sound futuristic, but these technologies are rapidly becoming a reality. AI and machine learning are revolutionizing the way we test, enabling us to handle the increasing complexity and scale of 5G and IoT deployments.
That's fascinating. I never considered the role of AI in telecom testing.
It's a game changer. By automating repetitive tasks and leveraging the power of AI, we can free up human testers to focus on the more strategic aspects of testing, designing more comprehensive tests, understanding user behavior, and anticipating potential issues that AI might miss.
So it's not about replacing human testers, but rather augmenting their capabilities and enabling them to work more efficiently and effectively.
Exactly. AI is a powerful tool, but it's ultimately up to humans to guide its development and ensure it's used responsibly and ethically.
Now, with all these advancements and challenges, what does this mean for aspiring telecom testers? What skills and qualities will they need to thrive in this dynamic and ever-evolving field?
It's a great question. Firstly, a solid technical foundation is a must. They need to understand networking protocols, operating systems, databases, programming languages, and of course the ins and outs of telecom technologies themselves.
So, a deep understanding of the nuts and bolts is essential, but what about the softer skills?
Those are equally important. Strong analytical and problem-solving skills are crucial, as is the ability to think critically and creatively. Telecom testers need to be able to identify patterns, connect the dots, and anticipate potential issues before they arise.
And what about communication? I imagine they need to be able to explain complex technical concepts to non-technical audiences.
Absolutely. Excellent communication and collaboration skills are essential. Telecom testers often work in large teams, interacting with developers, project managers, and business stakeholders. They need to be able to articulate their findings clearly and concisely, both verbally and in writing.
So it's not just about being a tech whiz, it's about being a well-rounded individual who can communicate, effectively collaborate with others, and adapt to a constantly changing technological landscape.
That's the exciting part. Telecom testing is a field that demands continuous learning and growth as technology evolves. Testers need to stay ahead of the curve, embracing new tools, techniques, and methodologies.
It sounds like a challenging but incredibly rewarding career path.
It certainly is. It's a field where you can make a real difference, ensuring the reliability, security, and performance of the systems that connect us all.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground in this part, exploring the challenges and innovations that are shaping the future of telecom testing, from the impact of 5G and the IoT to the rising importance of automation and AI. It's clear that this field is constantly evolving, but one thing remains constant: the critical role that telecom testing plays in our increasingly digital world.
Absolutely. And as we move into the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve into the specific types of testing that ensure those calls go through, those bills are accurate, and our digital lives run smoothly.
Stay tuned, listeners. We're about to uncover the fascinating world of telecom testing types, the unsung heroes that keep our digital world connected and secure. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've talked about the why of telecom testing, the critical role it plays in our connected world, but now let's get into the how.
Right.
Think of it as peeking under the hood of a high-performance race car. We're going to see all the specialized tests that keep this digital machine running smoothly.
It's like having an all-access pass to the pit crew, understanding the intricate checks and balances that ensure everything performs at its peak.
So let's start with something called interconnection testing. What exactly is being tested here?
Okay, so imagine you're making a call to someone on a different network, or maybe you're trying to access a website hosted on a server, across the world. Interconnection testing ensures those connections happen seamlessly.
So it's like the diplomats of the telecom world, making sure different networks can speak to each other.
Exactly. It's about testing the interfaces, the protocols, the signaling, all those behind-the-scenes handshakes that make communication possible between different systems. And it's not just about making a connection. It's about making sure it's a good connection.
So that means clear calls, fast data speeds, minimal lag, all those things we take for granted when they're working.
Precisely. And without rigorous interconnection testing, we'd be dealing with dropped calls, slow loading times, and a whole lot of frustration.
That's one test I'm glad they do. Now, let's shift gears to something we all experience but might not know the name of IVR testing.
Yeah, IVR stands for Interactive Voice Response. Those automated phone menus that guide us with prompts like press 1 for billing, press 2 for support.
Ah, yes. I've definitely had a love-hate relationship with those systems over the years.
We've all been there. But as frustrating as they can be, IVR systems are crucial for handling high call volumes and routing people to the right place.
So what makes testing these voice systems unique?
Well, unlike testing a visual interface, with buttons and screens, IVR testing is all about sound and interaction.
Right.
We're testing how the system responds to voice commands, touch tone inputs, and even background noise.
So it's like having a conversation with the system, making sure it understands what you're saying and responds appropriately.
That's a great way to put it. Testers need to consider all sorts of scenarios. What if someone coughs during a prompt or accidentally presses the wrong key? The system needs to be robust and user-friendly, guiding people through the process even if they make a mistake.
Okay, so we've covered the tests that make sure different networks can talk to each other and that those automated voice systems actually work. What's next in our testing toolbox?
Let's talk about protocol testing. This one gets a bit more technical.
Bring on the tech. Our listeners can handle it.
All right, so think of protocols as the language that computers use to communicate. Just like humans need to speak the same language to understand each other, devices need to follow the same protocols to exchange information properly.
So if devices are speaking different languages, the whole network could descend into chaos.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Protocol testing ensures everyone is on the same page, following the rules, and speaking the same digital language. This is crucial for everything from data transfer speeds to call routing accuracy.
It's like the grammar police of the digital world, making sure all the communication is clear, concise, and error-free.
That's a great analogy, and without proper protocol testing, we'd be dealing with a lot more digital miscommunications and system breakdowns.
Okay, next up is a testing type we've touched on before, but it's so important it deserves its own spotlight: functional testing.
Yeah, this is the bread and butter of software testing. It's about making sure the system does what it's supposed to do.
Right.
In the telecom world, that means testing things like call setup and tear down SMS messaging, call forwarding voicemail, all the core features users rely on.
So it's less about the technical underpinnings and more about ensuring the user experience is smooth and seamless.
Exactly. Functional testing takes the user's perspective, putting the system through its paces to make sure everything works as expected, from basic calls to more advanced features.
It's like a quality control check for the entire system, making sure all the pieces fit together and function properly.
Now, two other essential testing types we can't skip are performance testing and security testing.
Those sound crucial, especially in today's world where we're demanding more and more from our devices and networks.
Yeah, let's start with performance testing. This is all about stress testing the system. We want to know how it behaves under pressure when there are hundreds, thousands, or even millions of users all vying for network resources.
So it's like simulating rush hour on the digital highway, making sure everything flows smoothly even when traffic is heavy.
Exactly. Performance testers push the system to its limits, measuring things like response times, data transfer speeds, and resource utilization. They identify bottlenecks, optimize performance, and ensure the system can handle the demands of peak usage.
Without proper performance testing, we'd be dealing with a lot more lag buffering and those dreaded spinning wheel of death moments.
And last but certainly not least, we have security testing. This is about safeguarding the system against malicious attacks, protecting sensitive data, and ensuring the overall integrity of the network.
This feels especially important in the telecom world, where we're entrusting our personal information, financial transactions, and even critical infrastructure to these systems.
You're absolutely right. Security testing is a constant cat and mouse game trying to anticipate the tactics of hackers and build systems that can withstand their attacks.
So it's not just about building walls, it's about constantly reinforcing those walls, patching vulnerabilities, and staying one step ahead of the bad guys.
Exactly, and it involves a wide range of techniques, from penetration testing, where ethical hackers try to break into the system, to code reviews and vulnerability assessments.
It sounds like a never-ending battle, but one that's absolutely essential for protecting our digital lives and infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from understanding what telecom testing is to exploring the specific types of tests that ensure our digital world runs smoothly. It's been quite a journey.
It really has. And I hope our listeners have gained a new appreciation for the critical role that telecom testing plays in our increasingly connected world.
It's a field that's often hidden from view, but as we've seen, it's absolutely essential for enabling the technologies we rely on every day, from making sure our calls connect to protecting our sensitive data. Telecom testers are the unsung heroes who keep our digital lives functioning. So next time you effortlessly stream a movie, send a text, or connect with loved ones online, take a moment to appreciate the hard work and expertise of those behind the scenes, ensuring that the digital magic keeps flowing. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.